So let's say you take two twins, and the first twin, they train their ass off for a solid decade. They do everything as close to optimally as they can. They maximize their knowledge. They push hard in the gym. They're consistent. They're on point with their diet. It is their life. And the other twin, they don't really train. They eat whatever they want. They don't sleep. They are really stressed out. They have a shitty corporate job. They have, a lot of obligations, and just training is not only not a priority, but they don't train at all. Then both of them, they send their pictures via Instagram DM to me and say, Geoff, what are my bodybuilding genetics? And I've gotten dozens of people send me pictures saying, hey, dude, what are my genetics for bodybuilding? Or maybe just like, what are my genetics in general? And this is a really, really tough question to answer because you just don't have very much information.
Oh, obviously. The moment I sat down, I thought I was looking into a mirror.
We are identical twins.
And it's true that you can tell a difference at the periphery. So if someone has top Mr. Olympia genetics, they're probably going to look different even as a teenager. So if you look at Jay Cutler here, I think he's like 15 years old in this picture. That is not a typical 15-year-old, and you can see why he blew up later. Ronnie Coleman, again, he's 15 or 16 years old in this picture. That is not a typical 15-year-old arm. Dorian Yates, at age 21, after 9 months of training. Now, I don't know if this is natural or not, but even with drugs, that is ridiculous after 9 months of training. And you can see why later he blew up. Kevin Levrone, he's 15 in this picture, and you can see he has that frame. He has a little bit of delt definition. This could very well be just push-ups, or maybe not even that. Lee Priest, again, he's 15 in this picture, and this is the hallmark of elite genetics. You see it early. So if you want to be a Mr. Olympia, if that is your goal, you'll know, and you'll know early. You'll know probably without weight training, and then you'll know at least into a year or two of weight training. And if you can't look absolutely phenomenal when natural, you're not going to be a top Olympia competitor. For the average person in the middle of the bell curve, it becomes very, very difficult to actually assess their genetics. You don't know what their diet has been like. You don't know how consistent they've been. You don't know what their training has been like at all. You don't know if their sleep has been good. You don't know if they're optimizing all these factors that go into how a physique looks. They might look different based on the angles, based on the time of year, based on a whole bunch of other factors. And if you see someone like Phil Heath just playing basketball in college and their arm looks like that and their shoulder looks like that without any kind of serious weight training, yeah, you can see why they became Mr. Olympia. Here's the best one that I actually found. This is Rolly Winkler before at age 18 as a soccer player, and after as well, we know what after is, but you can see he's like kind of jacked for an 18-year-old soccer player in the first picture, right? The hair is kind of covering his shoulders and chest, but you can see he's unusually large. Just looking at someone, you don't know how many muscle fibers someone has, especially the fast twitch ones, which are predisposed to actually growing really well. Hormone levels, number of satellite cells, androgen receptor density, all these things that are not really going to be visible just from a picture. Plus, there definitely seems to be a varying response to various compounds. So just because you look very, very impressive naturally, you have a top 1% or top 0.1% physique naturally, that doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically going to become an IFBB pro, because you don't actually know that variable in advance.
We're twins.
That's right.
Now, you can maybe look at a picture, even as a beginner, and look at the overall structure, how the physique flows, the insertions, tendons, proportions, etc., and you can say, okay, this person potentially has elite level genetics, or this person probably is never going to make it as an elite bodybuilder. But does that really matter? Most people are never ever going to go down that road anyway, so why are you worrying about that? You can have average genetics in terms of proportion and structure and still have a 99% physique. Seriously, because most people don't even try at all. I mean, you have people who are worrying about like where their biceps inserts into their elbow when they have 13-inch arms. Maybe just train your biceps and don't worry about something you can't control. And that's honestly the main issue with people asking me about genetics. It's almost all beginners and it's not really actionable information. If I say, hey bro, you have shit genetics, or hey bro, you have amazing off the charts genetics, is that really going to change anything that you do? Is it going to change the process whatsoever? Are you going to wake up in the morning and be like, hey, Jeffrey Verity Schofield says I'm the shit. I have like ultra potential, bro. I'm going to go train harder. No. Why should you care? I mean, no. Why should you care? If I say you have below average genetics, are you going to give up? You're going to stop training because someone said something to you on the internet? No. Train for you. Try to get to your potential. Either way, just game theory here. Whatever I say doesn't really influence things much at all, or at least it shouldn't. So focus on what you can control. So maybe you can't control your genetics, but you can control your genetic expression. You can control your sleep. You can control your diet, your training, a lot of other factors, how hard you push, your recovery, your training knowledge, all these other things which are huge contributors to success. And when I say you can have a 99th percentile physique with perfectly average genetics, that's not hyperbole, that's not exaggeration, that's absolutely true, because so many people don't put in the work. So many people are not disciplined, they're not consistent, and they just half-ass things. If you whole-ass things, and you haul-ass down this path, you can really make big, big changes. And I think that attitude is a lot better than having the defeatist attitude of, oh, my genetics are average, therefore I'm always going to look like shit. No, even with average genetics, you can look very, very good if you put in the time, the work, the effort, the consistency, everything else. Focus on what you can do. All right, that is all for this video. Like, subscribe, share. If you're interested in the knowledge side of things, my book will definitely be an invaluable and valuable resource. Definitely grab a copy. It is still only $15, which is honestly stupidly underpriced. Link in a pinned comment below. Peace.